Roaming is a Los Angeles-based premium lifestyle brand that is motivated by nature. Roaming features high-quality, earth-friendly dog products made from renewable and natural materials like their bio-based and 100% compostable biodegradable dog poop bags. These bags really are awesome. I've been using their bags for a few months now, and I love the durability, the way they feel, and the fact that they are good for the earth. They also have a special discount for our listeners. Use code VermontDog to get 20% off your first purchase, including 20% off the first 3 orders if you sign up for one of their poop bag subscriptions. They also have some beautiful leather leashes made right here in the USA. You can check them out at roaming.com. That's ROMNG.com.
Time again for Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, owner of Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. It's the show that delves into the training, socializing, behavior, nutrition, and wellness of your dog. And brought to you by Guys Farm and Yard, with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And we're back with the trainer Ian Grant, and this week, rules and boundaries. And I know we've talked in the past about boundaries for your dog, that when you get a dog, you just don't let it go running all over the house when
Please
you first
don't.
start. Yeah. So there are rules and boundaries that good dog owners will try to instill in their dogs, like the day that they come to the house.
Yeah, I want that time to be, we can use that for an example of, first time you bring the dog home. I want there to be clarity as far as what the rules and the boundaries are first. I don't ever doubt that somebody loves their dog, and that will always be there. I never doubt that. But to me, I don't want to start the relationship based on, you are the cutest thing ever in the world. Oh my gosh, I'm going to love you forever. And
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Take all the freedom that you want. You can chew apart the couch if you want. All the, I mean, we might as well just give them everything, the sun and the moon, when we're doing this.
Right.
Recently, I had a client come in for a lesson, and she just wanted to work on her dog meeting other dogs. And so I brought in one of my go-to dogs that I use for this type of scenario, a little 20-pound dog. He's a sweet guy. Just sometimes he puts his paws up on your leg. But it's very gentle.
Yeah.
He's being as respectful as you can during that.
Right.
And I told her, I'm like, this is actually a great time for you to teach him rules and boundaries first before the relationship starts, before the friendship here, if you will. And sure enough, when he had his moment, he walked over, sniffed, and then a couple of paws went up on her legs. And I said, just take a couple of steps forward just to kind of back him off of you gently. And she did, got him back down. And then she took her steps backwards, and then he stayed there with that space in between them.
Well, that's good.
That's really good. That's also a part of him doing that softly on her legs. He wasn't, getting into her personal space with a lot of forward, movement. But I said, this is a perfect example of how to create those rules and boundaries that said, that doesn't work for me. That's not what we're going to base all of this on. A lot of times, really big dogs get away with this because big dogs are leaners. When we want that big mastiff to lean on us, or the big heavy dog, we welcome it in because they're just a big dog. When in actuality, we're not creating any rules and boundaries. What we're really saying is, you can get into my personal space anytime you want to. Now, outside of a loved one, we would never say that to a perfect stranger that we would. Yeah,
they want them that close all the time.
Yeah. So, this is where rules and boundaries really come into play with our relationship.
And you got to be, as we always say, consistent with it right from the get-go. So, like, for example, the one that you just used about them stepping back and the dog stay put. But what if the dog went back into your space and did the same thing? Then you'd have to do some sort of a corrective maneuver.
I would repeat the same thing.
Yeah.
This is why we have to be willing to repeat ourselves, because, again, once a 5-year-old is taught what 2 + 2 is, you think about how many times we have to hear that, or kids have to hear that before it becomes internalized. And they have to hear it a lot of different, from different people. In our situation, if there's 4 family members and we each are practicing the same thing when the dog jumps up on us, it will not take long at all before the dog realizes that is unwanted behavior, because the rules and boundaries are in place, everybody's in agreement, and now you can make some serious strides forward. So the consistency part, absolutely, but we also have to be consistent with our emotions during this process too, because if you're creating rules and boundaries with a lot of anger, frustration, intimidation, It's not going to be great for the relationship.
No.
For how your dog looks at you.
Yeah, no, I think we've talked about that in the past. You have to be careful about. And as we talked about last week, making it kind of a fun thing. And of course, if we're using the example of this is you're training the dog for the first time, you're just getting the dog, you want to make it some fun, but you still gotta make sure that they understand what the rules and boundaries are.
Yeah, if you think about it, if you or I haven't had a first day at a new job for quite some time.
Yeah.
But usually this is, where like human resources says, okay, so this is your job description. This is the rules and boundaries to the company's guidelines and policies. And so that's the first thing that we get. We get that clarity to start with. We don't get oh my gosh, we're so happy to have you here. Take whatever office that you want to. Take a break whenever you want to. Take a vacation.
Take 6 hours lunch.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
And it doesn't work that way with the dogs either.
Yeah, but what comes out of it is clarity. Then everybody is on the same page as to how this is going to work, what's expected, and then that's when you see stress come off of dogs.
Yeah. And don't say, well, I'll do it next time.
Yeah.
You get past next time, and pretty soon it gets a lot more difficult to instill those boundaries.
Yeah, you just keep letting things go over and over again.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No.
Back with our question from the doggy bag in just a moment here on Talking Dogs.
Are you looking for gear that can keep up with your active and adventurous dog? Look no further than Synology Warehouse. They specialize in equipping the modern canine with distinguished, overbuilt gear that's built to last from home to horizon. From premium collars and leashes to rugged outdoor gear, they have everything you need to keep your dog comfortable and safe no matter where your adventures take you. I've been using their Biothane slip leashes for months now and I love them. They have a nice feel, a good grip, and they clean very easily. Use coupon code Vermont to receive 10% off your purchase. Head over to Synology Warehouse on Etsy today and give your dog the gear they deserve. Synology Warehouse, overbuilt gear that's built to last from home to horizon.
Back to Talking Dogs with Ian Grant from Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. For more information about his facility and his programs, log on to VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com. And the question this morning, Ian, is my dog won't stop licking my hand when I pet her. Is there a way to make it stop? So why would a dog do that? Is it overly showing affection, or is this a nervous thing?
I'd honestly have to see video because there can be nervousness that goes along with it. But usually it's just this, oh my gosh, this is so nice. And then you get the affection back and they're just licking and licking. And I've met some dogs where it's intense. They just
constant? Yeah,
even when you take your hand away, they just keep licking your hand. And so this is a situation where I would probably start little by little, meaning, if I invite the dog over, I would just reach out my hand, touch the dog, and take my hand away. And if they start petting, I'm probably going to stand, or if they start licking, I'm probably going to stand up, move towards them to back them away, to create some space. Because just like this is another version of jumping, this is also, getting into our personal space to a different level. It's not just leaning up against you, you're getting licked.
Yeah.
But I would have to repeat this process. Now, if this is stemming from a nervous dog, then we have to address the nervousness first here before we really get too deep into it, because we don't want to be petting a nervous dog either.
Because then you're encouraging them. Or not, or you're not discouraging them, actually.
Well, and that's a great point. We're not discouraging that behavior at all. And that communication is, you can be nervous all the time, which if we saw a human that way, it would just kind of be like, we gotta help them. And that's the process to that. But the lickings just start slowly. Just reach out, touch the dog to start with, because maybe when you just touch the dog and remove your hand, maybe they won't lick.
Yeah.
But slowing the process down, much like what we were talking about last week with the question is, the dogs that might eat fast, we have to slow it down. Because when you slow it down, then you can you can pinpoint the time of when things get triggered and then work on the trigger to desensitize them to it.
So you don't think it's being overly affectionate is the reason?
Yeah, it very well could be, but if it's bothering or bothersome to this person, it's just like jumping. If the dog can jump on everybody at home, it's going to jump on other people. So if it's licking people at home, it's going to lick everybody else.
So you want to get right to it right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It may seem harmless, but it's another one of those habits that you want to get on top of.
Yeah.
If you have a question for Ian, you can email him directly to info@VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com. Next week, the topic is, does your dog bark for attention? Well, we do know, according to Ian, that all dogs bark for a reason. They don't just bark to hear themselves
Amen
bark.
to that.
So that's our topic next week, because that barking for attention, but it could be for other reasons too.
Yeah, and I've also heard it called demand barking too.
Demand barking.
Demand. I demand you to do something with me.
I need this right now.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to wait till next week, actually, to talk about it, though.
Yep.
On Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard, with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And for the trainer Ian Grant, I'm Roland LaJoy, and we are Talking Dogs.